Welcome to the Raptors Weekly podcast. It is your boy Mike, and of course, I'm giving you this special feeling after an amazing game against the Cleveland Cavaliers. So that wasn't amazing. It wasn't like they beat them by 40 or 30. What makes it so amazing is the fact that we were without our all-star Pascal Siakam, and he just came back after a 10-game absence, and that's what makes it amazing. To watch Pascal Siakam back on the court is what is amazing, and what all Raptor fans have been waiting for. What all Raptor fans have been hoping for is to see Pascal Siakam back on the squad, helping this team out. It's been spectacular. But before I continue on, make sure you like, subscribe, follow, do what you got to do. The Raptors, Pascal, they're all back. It's good to see. The Raptors are 11-9. I don't know what anyone expected from this season. I don't know what prediction you had. But at the end of the day, the one prediction you did not have was that Pascal was going to miss 10 games. But at the same time, we were going to lose Precious. Fred was going to go out sick. The only two players that have been playing this whole time and haven't been hurt is OG and Koloko. So much players have been gone. Banton has been gone. I think Flynn missed some time. Otto Porter just hasn't played, really. Probably played what? I think he's only played like 3 games. I feel like I've only seen him for 3 games, if I'm being honest here. But, it's been different. This team has been different. And it's nice just to see this team play the way they played against Cleveland. Yeah, Cleveland had a back-to-back, but, I don't even care about their stupid back-to-back. I know I should. Back-to-backs are hard. Now you're playing a team that had 3 days rest, which happens. It happens in the NBA. Not everything's fair. Sometimes it takes me back to Raptors championship year when, the year after, when they had a game and then they had a Christmas game right after, and Boston had 3-4 days off, and then Boston killed them and crushed them. Then on Friday, with less time off, Toronto won that game. I think about that. Sometimes the schedule just isn't fair. Schedule isn't always what you want it to be. But I digress. Let's talk about Pascal being back. This recent game against the Cleveland Cavaliers, Pascal scored 18 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists. So it's not safe to say the man's back yet. He's not back yet because he was averaging 25 points, 9 and 7 or something like that. I think Pascal will end the year with a double-double though, because the way, especially for the rebounds, of course, is what's going to get him the double-double. The way he is, attacking the boards this season is better than I've seen. I think if we look at his numbers, before he left or got injured, or the last 5 games before he got injured, I believe he's averaging a double-double. So with Pascal as a whole, I think this year will be I think he's going to average a 20 and 10 for sure. I think he's going to average a 20 and 10. I think he's going to be a 24, 10, and 7, that's all NBA, of course, numbers. I think we all know that, Pascal's playing all NBA level. Pascal's been all NBA twice. The crazy thing is if Pascal is another all NBA, I think that would tie him with DeMar. I think DeMar has 3, which is crazy. But I think as a Raptor, I think that would put Pascal the most in Raptors history for currently playing for the Raptors. A 3-time all NBA player. That's crazy, especially 3 in the past 4 years. If you are 3 of the past 4 years a top 15 player, how do people not put you as top 15? How do they not? People they talk about Pascal and they're so shocked of how good he's gotten. I didn't think he was going to level up like this. I didn't think he was going to act like this. I didn't think Pascal's going to do this. I'm shocked at Pascal's growth. They say all these things about Pascal. I don't think Pascal can lead a team to a championship. Honestly, who can? We're talking about like 4 guys in the league that can lead their team to a championship. Like who we've seen do it currently. Steph, LeBron, KD, Kawhi, Giannis. That's 5 guys. So 5 guys have led their team to a championship. I'm going to say them again because I don't want to forget. Steph, LeBron, KD, Kawhi, Giannis. Yeah, those 5 guys. So let's say those 5 guys, who are we talking about? Some guys are on the same boat. Some guys have led their team to the conference finals, have led their team to the finals. But no one has won it. No one's led their team. You know, those 5 guys are the guys. Ultimately, in the past 10, 15 years, it's been those 5 guys. So, there's not... Of course, you guys sprinkle a little dirt. You know what I'm talking about? Like, you get sprinkled on some other guys, of course. But currently in the league, there's only those guys. So, Pascal is just... Pascal's in the same boat as, like, all these, like... Of course, I understand talent level. He's not as, like, a Luka... maybe not a Jaw, things like that. But I'm just saying, or Dame, so to speak. But Pascal should be spoken about in the same level as those guys. Not Luka, but like a Dame, a Jaw, like a really good player, a guy that you're hoping can lead your team to a championship, but has not. And Jaw's so young, so Jaw eventually will. I think the Grizzlies are gonna be a great team. But Dame hasn't led his Portland Trailblazers anywhere. Eastern Conference Finals. Pascal had a really bad bubble, you know. I just finished also watching Serge and Fred speak to each other. And hearing them talk to each other, you know, they really believed themselves in the bubble. They really believed that they could have won in the bubble. And I agree. I've said it before in a previous podcast. If you ever watch the bubble and watch the Raptors play and watch Pascal Siakam, it's like the man lost his joy of the game. You saw it then that Pascal was not happy. That Pascal, like, there's something off. And I just think if we got this version of Pascal, if we just got the beginning of that season Pascal, I think we would have beat the Boston Celtics. I definitely think we would have beat the Miami Heat. And then finals would have been the finals. You know? But I just went on a tangent with Pascal. It's great to see Pascal's growth. It's great to see Pascal back on the court after a 10-game absence. Pascal's just he's our all NBA. He's our all-star. He's that guy. You know, he's the guy that we depend on so much to elevate the other guys. And, you know, I think that's what he does. I think he makes everyone better. So that's great to see. Let me talk quickly about this Dallas game. It was a good Dallas game against Toronto. A little tight. Another Saturday game going down to the wire, making a bunch of fans really nervous, which I guess what they do. They love doing that. And having these Saturday games is so weird. Changes my whole dynamic of my Saturday. Knowing the fact that the Raptors are about to play. And I'm so used to, you know, NFL Sunday while also a Raptor game on. That was back in the day when the games were at like 12 o'clock on CBC. That's some real trivia for some of y'all. Back in the day, watching that. And then, like, so that's what I'm so used to. But these Saturday games, it seems just down to the wire. But that Dallas game was a good game. OG once again, which I'll dive into, had a great game. Defended Luka. Had to close out the game because you can tell Fred was tired. You can see Fred just laboring just throughout the court near, like, I'll say the second half and more to the second half of the game. Fred just looked tired. He looked beat. Mind you, the man had like 26 points, and he was tired. The man's like, I cannot lead this team no longer. I need some help. Help me. Kevin Hart voice, help me. And you know he needed that help, ultimately speaking. And he got the help. OG played a great game. OG guarded Luka very well. Very, very well. I think, Luka is Luka. Luka's going to get his points. Luka's going to do what he has to do. I made a video, which you got to check out, about Luka and the Dallas Mavericks. As much as I love Luka, and I love Luka, trust me, I'm one of Luka's biggest fans. That team isn't good. Once again, I think Luka has a part of that problem because Luka needs to divvy up the ball more, but that team isn't that great. They ask Luka so much, and you can tell within the game against the Raptors that they were asking so much of him. Luka was doing so much that whole game. But that's what the Raptors knew, hence why their defense was pretty good. The one thing I don't always agree with, but Dallas probably could have played Christian Wood more to go against Toronto's size and all the things that they were doing. But all in all, what a good game there. I thought it was Dallas played really well. Toronto, even though they were hitting their threes, especially in the fourth quarter. They were definitely hitting their threes. Toronto just withstand the run, and it was good. It was good. I think it was a solid win, especially because I think the consensus that a lot of people thought was, one, this is your last game and for the week, and you have a 3-game layoff. I think a lot of people were thinking that. And also, I want 3-game, 2-game layoff. You play Saturday, you don't play Sunday. And then you're here now. But you also had rest the 3 games before. That's what I mean. You had rested before, and then, you had a game off. And you also thought to yourself, okay, Pascal's coming back. I think even after the game, everyone could tell Pascal was coming back. So I think that thought process really went into head. So it was good. It was good. I think everyone should be happy with that win against Dallas. Solid win. OG and Fred doing their thing. Boucher. Playing like the 6th man of the year. I think this year we're going to have so much guys that, should be talked about. Boucher should be talked about. Fred should be talked about. We're not talking about that today, but he should be talked about. OG definitely should be talked about. And Pascal should be talked about. Scotty will get there. I have no doubt in my mind that Scotty Barnes is a future All-Star. I think this is his 2nd year in the league, and I think we have to realize that. When I look at Evan Mobley in the game against the Cavs, I don't see anything stand out yet. And I'm waiting for it. And the Eye Test podcast is coming soon. Probably first episode may not be a podcast where it may just be talking, but about the Chicago Bulls. Stay tuned to that. But Evan Mobley, I don't know. I'm not seeing what I'm not seeing yet what everyone's seeing yet. I see flashes. I'm not saying I don't see it. I definitely see the flashes of what he can be and whatever. But in saying that, I just, once again, it's the 2nd year. So I'm okay with not seeing this spectacular, John Morant leap or Luka leap. Only certain players can do that. We haven't seen that leap, but I just haven't seen it with him right now. But I'm confident he will become a player that we talk about because I do think he's highly talented, and I can see it. I just haven't seen it this year, so to speak. Now, saying all that, a good Raptors win for both. Now they're 11-9. With the Raptors being 11-9, you have to ask yourself this question: with Pascal back, what is this team gonna look like? You know what? Before I even get to what the team is gonna look like, against the Cleveland Cavaliers, Nick Nurse started Thad and Juancho. Some would say it could have been a bold move because he didn't start Scotty. So Scotty didn't start, so that could have been a bold move. And Gary didn't start. I do think that eventually Scotty will... It's not even a question. Scotty's going back to the starting unit. There's no question. Scotty's going definitely back to the starting unit. Gary Trent, I'm not too sure. And I think if Gary knows that this could be his path, I think he'll accept it, but you never know. The one thing I liked that when Gary was on during Cleveland, he was kind of shooting. He was doing his thing. And Gary came off the bench last game too, and I'm okay with this. I think it's I think we all kept saying that Gary should come off the bench. It's better for him. I think we just see. I think we see what's gonna happen. Maybe Gary just shines here. I think having him and a Boucher reminds me of a Lou Will, like Montrezl Harrell type of deal. So something I do like, something I kind of want to see more of. I actually kind of like it. Like this last past game against the Cavs, I did think that Gary Trent, he chucked it more at the end, but I did think, one thing I saw a lot of was Gary passing the ball. Like I generally saw him sharing the ball while still getting his own. And if he can be a guy who comes off the bench who can share the ball, play tough defense and, could score at will, is the best version of him. That's the best version of Gary Trent. So, shout outs to Gary and Barnes for taking it pretty well and coming off the bench. His team believes in their final goal. It is going to seem weird when, Scotty comes off comes off and starts, and maybe Gary doesn't. So that's going to be kind of weird. But in the replacement was Thad, who I'm petitioning for this guy to start now. I think Thad should start. I think Thad makes everyone better. If Thad, maybe he was the center we needed all along. And if Thad starts, I'm pretty good with that. I'm really, really good with that. Of course, against the Joel Embiids of the world, you got to play someone like Kim Birch and Koloko because the size, of course. I don't think you can, but there's games where, like, who's to say Thad can't guard? I understand, like, the concept of Jared Allen, but he wasn't playing this past game, but I think Thad can hold his own against Jared Allen. It'd be hard to get rebounds, so it's more like gang rebound that you have to do. But other than that, I think when he's playing offensive, has the ball on the top of the post, it's crazy. I think the things that he can do, he finds, like, Juancho. I feel like every game he finds Juancho with the same play. They clearly have some chemistry, and, Thad is special to me. Thad is special to my heart and the development of the team. Juancho, I think he's played really solid, actually. Like, I didn't expect him to get any minutes. And I don't think a lot of Raptors fans did either. But Juancho's been pretty solid. Like, very solid. Like, very, very solid. And I think it's good to see that there are, like, 14th guys is playing this well. The one thing with Juancho, it's funny because it reminds me of, like, Utah. I feel like someone we spoke about a lot, but we didn't think was going to get a lot of minutes. And the one thing I said with Juancho, he's played way better than the 2 years that we had Utah. I'm sorry to disrespect some people who love Utah, and I like Utah, but he's leading the league in three-point shooting. But he wasn't leading the league in three-point shooting when it was with us. At all. Wasn't doing it, didn't happen. So I think Juancho's been better. So I've been pretty proud of seeing that with Juancho. Now, in saying all that, like I said, I think eventually Thad stays in the starting unit and Scotty comes back and you switch on Juancho. That's it. I think then the lineup is fine. You wait for Precious, you wait for Otto Porter. Then you have a really deep bench, because I think you play Juancho. Now I think Juancho is probably taking Banton and Flynn's minutes because backup point, you can always ultimately the backup point is non-existent. And sometimes I think it doesn't really matter because you have Pascal and you have Scotty. And I truly think every day is that Scotty should be the point guard anyway. And then you stagger minutes and Fred is your, like, quote-unquote backup. Then you have Thad Young who still does his thing. And then you have a guy like Precious who can take the ball. Still got OG developing his skills. Got Pascal, all these things. So that backup point guard starting to look more and more bleak, in my opinion. Way more bleak. Now, the thing is about... The next thing I was going to talk about before I went on a more, starting unit tangent, is what is the ball going to look like, with Pascal now back, right? Well, the crazy thing with Pascal being back, a lot of guys were also hurt too, so there's not going to be too crazy of changes. But one thing Pascal does by coming back is he he helps the team overall just get better. I know that sounds so obviously dumbass that he makes them better, but how does he make them better? I think one thing with Pascal, we saw a lot in the game. He has the ability to take it to the basket and dish it out for someone, or dish it out to someone, dish it out to someone else. A lot of hockey assists I saw against the Cleveland Cavaliers. I also think when he's on the court, I think he makes players like a Gary Trent who can shoot the three very well. Fred, I think he makes those two type of guys so much better. So with Pascal coming back, I only believe that the shooters and the shooting will get better. Juancho, once again, hit a three. Pascal was going for like a spin move, ended up not. Passed to an open man and Juancho, and good things happen. That's what Pascal brings overall. Scotty was saying in his post game, he's like, "Whoa, like yeah," because like sometimes Pascal does this thing, and I know people want to hate, but he does this thing. So ultimately, I think with this team, nothing truly changes with Pascal back on, but what can change is that OG can not feel so tired playing both roles. He can now concentrate on playing defense more, which he has, and he's honestly been Defensive Player of the Year. Put the ballot in now. He should win. Hopefully with OG, this stays consistent. Limiting Donovan Mitchell to 8 points, these are the things you got to talk about. These are things that you put on his resume. These are things that, make a ballot much easier at the end of the month. Or at the end of the year, end of the season, I should say. So that's good. Scotty's getting his game back. I think Scotty's going to get back. And when he does, like Chris Boucher said in his podcast, watch out. It's something you're going to have to see that's going to happen. I do think Scotty is going to be fine. And I think that starting unit is looking really nice. I think the bench is looking really nice. Really, really nice. If you put Gary, you have Gary, Boucher, Porter, and Achua, and then matchup dependent, you can either bring Flynn for some guard play, or you bring in a big, like a center in like a Kem Birch. So, good squad. I really like this squad. I really like what we're seeing from this team. It's just so good. I'm very happy. I'm very, very happy of what we see. All in all, my last thing before I head out, it's like darn near 1 o'clock in the morning. You can probably tell my voice. I low-key yawned midway, but it's fine. That's what you trucker through. You talk about the Raptors day and night. That's what it is. I do want to say one thing about Pascal, and which is great to see, is that he's smiling again. And I said it previously about the bubble and how he just was unhappy, but seeing Pascal smile goes a long way. It's precious, so to speak. And it shows you that sometimes you never know what's going to happen in your career. Pascal was being spoken about like a top 50 player. Once again, people commented that Christian Wood is better. Jeremy Grant's better. Julius Randle's better. But he's shown to me time and time again that he's better than those guys. Like way better. So it's good to see Pascal smile again. It really is. But that's it for me. That's my Raptors Weekly. I'm hoping to put out another one this week. Enjoy the game against the Pelicans. Should be a fun one. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. I have a TikTok channel as well. Make sure you guys check it out. It's Those Guys Sports. And I'll talk to you soon. Peace.